who are making things interesting for the Lakers once again, with Lonzo dropping a diss track aimed at teammate Kyle Kuzma this week that reportedly had Lakers brass doing a double take. Naturally, LaVar didn't make things better, telling Colin on The Herd yesterday that Lonzo and Kuzma aren't that close.
I can't be close if you're telling me, hey, LaVar, and you talk all crazy and they say, hey, I like you. Now, wait a minute, I'm going to come, hey, the ball in me going to allow me to get in the rage. And that's what it did. But it's not going to affect Lonzo's plan or nothing like that.
But he and Kyle are not that close.
Well, I wouldn't be that close. He just met him.
They're not that. You're saying they're not.
I'm saying they're not that close to me. You can't be that close. You just met this guy.
All right, Cal Hurt, did LaVar hurt Lonzo's relationship with the Lakers?
No, I think Lonzo has to be culpable. Okay, Lonzo's a smart player. Okay, he plays with a kind of sophisticated sense of get the ball up. People like to play with him. Okay, you're doing diss track stuff with a teammate. You're part of this video. By the way, you didn't come off a Ben Simmons year, a Jason Tatum year, a Donovan Mitchell year. You came off a year where half the people on this set were calling you a bust 2 months in. You got to be aware here. You got to know you can do this stuff. Westbrook's got an MVP. Durant's got finals. You are, in the eyes of a lot of people, an enigma, a mystery, and still potentially a bust.
A daddy's boy.
I mean, Lonzo's got to own something. You can't blame LaVar for all this stuff. Lonzo's now a grown man. You got to own some of this.
I would agree, but I eventually blame LaVar because an apple doesn't fall far from a tree. And so what you're looking at is a pretty good reflection of LaVar. And LaVar came on your show yesterday, and I kind of thought the Kuzma-Lonzo thing was just a joke between friends. And then hearing LaVar, I say, well, hold on, maybe there is something to it. Because if you remember right, when LaVar criticized Luke Walton, Kuzma was Luke Walton's biggest defender. At the end of the year, Kuzma was the guy that said on the record that, hey, I think LaVar made it hard on his son early in his career with all the hype. And so I think if there's an issue here, LaVar's got a problem with Kuzma. The son is so attached to his dad that he's got a problem with Kuzma to some degree.
It's possible LaVar might have a problem with Kuzma. Kuzma was on my podcast a month ago. He said he and Lonzo were very tight, that was his best friend on the Lakers. And if you look at them on social media, this is what they do. They go back and forth at each other. That's why I asked the question. I was like, are y'all cool? Because on the outside, you might not know, is this joking around or what? He said that's his best friend. That's what they do. They joke with each other.
Pac and Biggie were friends.
Well,
seriously, at one point.
Look, I don't know this for a fact. I think LaVar may not know how close they are. He said, how can he be close? He just met him. So he's not around them. They're around each other every day. I think LaVar looks at close as LiAngelo and Melo and Lonzo. Family. Everything's about family with them. They're not that close, but I think these two are close. The one problem I see potentially is the diss track when he said, you don't know your daddy, you getting son. Now, my guess is that Lonzo thought he was being clever, and it was kind of a clever line. You don't know your daddy, but now you getting son. The question is, how does Kuzma take it? That's the one. Now, he might, if he takes it seriously, we got a problem.
From a different zip code to me, that never landed well in my zip code.
That would never be.
No, I looked at it. It didn't. I thought it was, as soon as I heard it, it made me cringe. Yeah. I'm just saying, you look at the way he put the words together. Yeah. That was clever, but no.
So we don't know. When LaVar was on your show and he was talking about all this nonsense with Kuzma and was that coming from the locker room? Is this coming from Lonzo? Do we know if Lonzo's saying, oh, we're just friends on social media? I just wonder, this is so unbecoming of the Lakers franchise. Remember, 3 years ago, D'Angelo Russell got into that whole thing with Nick Young and that female rap artist, and it was just like Iggy Azalea.
Used to be my neighbor, by the way.
That's good information.
It was a mess.
That's a disaster. I mean, we're talking about the Lakers, the marquee franchise in NBA history, and you got social media nonsense, you got rap track disses. We think Lonzo could be out of town, right? And LeBron's coming in. Do you think LeBron, who just saw his teammate, J.R. Smith, throw soup at a coach, wants to deal with LaVar Ball and Lonzo Ball and diss tracks?
Listen, this was my take yesterday. It's not everything, but it's something. Listen, LeBron doesn't like playing with young guys. Jason, he had a chance to Wiggins. He's like, no, I'll take the less athletic Kevin Love. That Miami team, Battier, Miller, Ray Allen, that was an old folks' home. He doesn't like young guys. These young guys look even younger doing this diss track stuff. We have a history and a precedent with LeBron.
I know
he likes veterans.
A lot of these NBA guys have gone off and done rap albums and movies, you know, Shaq. They had accomplished something. Lonzo Ball wasn't even first team all rookie. Okay, he was pretty bad, 30%.
Kobe did his rap album pretty early, you know, and I'm not comparing him to Kobe.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, to me, I don't have a problem with them doing a rap video or whatever. You got a ton of free time as a player, and you use it how you want. As long as it doesn't affect your game, you're still working on it. Like I said, to me, there's one potential problem, the line about Kuzma's dad.
I think there's two potential problems. The line about Kuzma's dad, and then just, I thought the whole dissecting the rap lyrics, I thought it was all a reflection of things that LaVar potentially could say. Because the whole thing about the tattoos, the tattoos. And because I've heard a lot of guys that are fathers say, any of these kids that don't have fathers, they tat themselves up because they're looking for an identity.
You know who has a tattoo now?
Yeah, I know.
Lonzo and LiAngelo.
And he was on record yesterday on Colin's show. He doesn't like tattoos or whatever. And so I just thought a lot of that diss, and then talking about how he doesn't know his daddy is, it seemed a little personal. It was out of bounds, and it's a reflection of LaVar.
By the way, Kyle Kuzma was supposed to dump. Is that what the kid
Today,
he was going to drop.
Today.
Drop.
There it is. Drop.
Sorry, he was going to drop his diss track today. He hasn't.
I bet you his advisors are like, look,
move on.
And hold on, but more than that, if he doesn't, that could signify he's taking this seriously. That it's not a joke to him, right?
It never lands well. The joke about someone's father, that never lands well.
I'm with you.
All right. To the Warriors, who celebrated their latest championship with a parade in Oakland yesterday, the title marks the second now for Kevin Durant since he joined the Warriors. And this one was even easier than last year's, which, according to former NBA player Jared Dudley, hasn't been great for Durant's image.
When KD won, even KD said, hey, even KD in an interview said, hey, I was looking for validation. I was looking for it after winning it out. And overall, I still felt empty. I think I don't want to say those are exact quotes, but you got to look at the article he had and saying that how he thought that winning a championship would fill a void, but it didn't. And the reason why the championship didn't fill a void is because it came so easy.
That's interesting. Would you respect KD more if he left the Warriors?
Let me give you the quote in context where KD said, I needed that validation from my peers and teams and GMs, people that are really into the game, to really help me feel good about myself and help me feel confident and let me know I was doing was working. What I was doing was working. I think Jared Dudley made a great point. I think that was on your radio show. I think he made a great point. And I do think if he wants that ultimate validation, if he wants to be on LeBron's level, he needs to choose a harder path than cherry-picking a couple of titles off the 73-9 team.
I don't know. You don't leave unity and winning. Man, listen, the easier way.
There was.
My whole life, I've been trying to find an easier way to make money. Do I need validation? By the way, TV's a lot easier than writing another column for the Kansas City Star. You seem to be making more money working less. You don't go on road trips. You go to steakhouses.
Let me say this. If they would pay me what I can make in TV to write, I'd be writing.
Yeah, but they don't, so you get on TV. I think easier. What's wrong with easier?
No, Colin Whitlock's right. Kevin Durant needs to go to Orlando and win a title, and then, I'll be impressed with Kevin Durant. Is that where we're headed?
No,
He's got to go to like Charlotte? I mean, no, guys, seriously. We need to look at this from sacrifice. And I know you're going to laugh when you hear this, but Kevin Durant was the man in OKC. Took all the shots, won 4 scoring titles.
Not all the shots.
He had to sacrifice a lot of his game. Fewer minutes, fewer shots, and play better defense. He averaged career highs, assists, and blocks this year, playing with the Warriors. He had to sacrifice his offense and find other parts of his game to improve as an overall player.
I love with the Warriors, you'd have career highs too.
Look, first of all, it was my radio show. I like the way you took credit.
It was both. I mean, you had him on later.
Okay, all right. It's a matter of degrees. When LeBron James won 2 rings in Miami, everybody gave him respect and praise. But he goes to Cleveland, wins 1, and that one meant more to everybody. If you were dating Tamron Hall, We give you mad respect, but we said, but she ain't Holly Berry. He ain't this.
Yeah.
Now, it would be like, oh, Holly might be better, but you still good with Tamron Hall. And Durant is still good. Okay.
Reverse.
All right, whatever. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Durant is still good with, he gets respect, okay, 2 rings. But there's no doubt, if he went back this summer to Oklahoma City and won the title there, you're going to tell me it wouldn't be even greater. That one title in OKC wouldn't be more impressive.
Well, wait, are you going to let him in OKC have free reign of the roster the way LeBron said, okay, I'll take Kevin Love. We got Kyrie Irving.
LeBron was one move.
Yeah, he orchestrated it all.
That team still wasn't as good as Golden State. But they got over the hump,
Well, they got
a ring.
By the way,
whatever it meant, it's
Draymond Green?
Rings, all rings are not created equal. That's all I'm saying.
baseball players wouldn't sacrifice a nickel.
Why are we bringing baseball in?
Because Kevin Durant is like, I'll give up money and points.
We don't talk
Winning
about
is not as big in baseball because it's so dependent on so many other players.
I look at Kevin Durant sacrifice money, shots, the ball. What about those sacrifices?
All we're saying, I don't think you're saying these don't mean anything. He gets mad respect and praise for winning these 2. I'm just saying if he won one elsewhere where he didn't have Steph and Draymond and Clay, and they hadn't won a championship right before him, he would get even more.
Okay.
Even more.
Kevin Durant and Dirk Nowitzki have very similar games. Who do you respect more?
Me,
Well,
Dirk.
Durant's just a better player.
come on, Jimmy.
He's just a
Man,
better
he said
player.
respect. He didn't say who was the better player. He said who I respect more. Dirk Nowitzki.
You know the man spent 8 years next to Russell Westbrook? Nobody can spend
Hold on,
that long.
stop acting like that's torture. Russell Westbrook's a Hall of Famer, please.
Oh,
Relax.
But
They
by the
got
way,
to the NBA
he'll be in
Finals.
his own wing.
Coming up.
They can't play with anybody.
Tiger Woods about to tee off at his
disrespect.
second major since coming